Hmm. All right. I think I'm live. All right. So I don't have this scripted or anything. I just personally, I was just setting up private internet access through my router instead of using the application, the software that they give you, which is right here. I'm not going to turn it on because I would get cut off from the stream. And so this is for people that have a PFsense router. If you don't have one, you should look into it if you're technically savvy at all. I mean, you don't really even need to be that good with computers or technology to use PFsense. It's easy to set up and just use, and then you can dig more into it if you want as you go. But so what I wanted to do was set up private internet access, which is a VPN. If you watch YouTube, there's tons of ads for VPNs on everybody's video. And if you have a PFsense router, or there's some other types of routers, a little bit higher end ones that where you can add a VPN that you pay for monthly private internet access, you pay I don't know, a few bucks a month, like $5, or I don't know what it is. I think I pay by the year, but anyway, you pay a few bucks and you can click on your VPN, and then your ISP can't see what you're doing, and you have some anonymity when you're on the internet. It's a secure encryption tunnel. So since I pay for that, and since I have a PFsense, which is a computer that is used as a router with router software on it, PFsense has the ability to add my credentials and set up my private internet access VPN through this PFsense. And right now I'm logged into my router into the PFsense, and this is what it looks like. Actually, my internet's kind of slow right now, but you can see if we go to VPN and open VPN. Actually, that's not right. Status and open VPN. This will show, and I set up 3 of these because I was having issues, which is what I'm going to go over why I had issues. And if you're trying to set this up, I'll give you just a couple tips. I'm not going to run through how to do it exactly, because I left a link to private internet access's website and their instructions on how to set this up. And it's actually really easy if you follow these instructions. When you scroll through it, just go to this link and follow these steps. And when you're making changes in your PFsense router, any changes you need to make in PFsense are highlighted in green. So it's just you just follow the instructions. It's easy, and it's actually a lot quicker than watching a video. Now, I did have issues. So the first step in this is you need to go to System and Certificates. And if you're not using this changed a little. It used to be called System Certificate Authority, or Certificate Manager or something. I think Certificate Manager. And then on one of the PFsense updates, it changed so certificates, and this looks a little bit different than it used to. This used to have Certificate Authority, or CA, up here. So what you have to do is add a certificate, and you get those certificates by clicking on these. And they have different ones: default, strong, TCP. So I selected the strong one, but I downloaded all these, and that's what I would recommend doing, is downloading all these. So, and they'll come in a zip like this, and I'll show you the folder, because here's the issue that I was having. So I usually am connected to one of the VPN connections, one of the servers in Canada, because Canada with PIA has port forwarding, which I need. And a lot of the ones don't. All the ones in the United States don't have that. And so, yeah, I usually do Canada. So that's what I selected. And these are all different ones. So OpenVPN IP, the standard, strong. And what you'll notice is if we look at this Ontario one, I'll pull that here, and I think this is going to be just the standard, like the Chicago one. No, I'm incorrect. What one? Oh, I think, was it California? Yeah, here we go. So, oh, that's opening in different tabs. Okay, well, anyway, I don't know why this is. Can we open like not in a window? There we go. Okay. Or in a new window, not in a tab. But anyway, so if you look here, I'm going to try to explain this so it makes sense. It'll make more sense if you try to do this and go through the steps. But if you look at the encryption, the cipher, they have it here, but this is like the encryption stuff that the tunnel uses. On the less secure one, on the normal one, it's AES 128. And over here, you can see this is a strong one. And it's AES 256. And some of these are different in here, right? But when you are following these instructions, down here, where is it? Here we go. So here it is, the encryption algorithm. They tell you to put this in, and they tell you to put this in, and then they have that and the server name. Trying to find it here. Oh, here we go. So the server name and the server port. And what I have set up is not 1198 because I was connecting to Canada, not to California. So the server name's going to be different, the port's going to be different, and the encryption, depending on if you're using strong or normal or whatever, is going to be different. And the encryption and the server name and the port have to match what PFsense sets up. So what you do is don't watch someone else's video or a link to download the certificates from elsewhere and just copy and paste them in. Because what you end up having to do to add it to PFsense is copy from this begin certificate to end certificate, like that. You copy this and put it into PFsense. And if you do that, not from private internet access, you won't know what the settings are for the specific server and whatnot, and they might not match up. But private internet access, when you download what I showed you here from the link I left, when you download these zip files here, default, strong, static, whatever, and you unzip them, it has all this info with the certificate down here, and then it has right here is the server name that you put in, and then here's the port that it uses, and it tells you what algorithm it uses for the encryption and all this stuff. So just go off what this says. Don't go off what even private internet access's own instructions say. Unless you're using the California server, then you're probably okay. But even then, you still have to match the encryption. So just double check and look at what it says in here that corresponds with this part, the certificate that you're using. So whatever you copy and paste from here, the encryption has to match this up here. And if we take a look at the OpenVPN client, and I can actually delete these. I'm not using those. Although I may add more just so I can like switch over somewhat quickly. But if we look at this, you know, the instructions give a different port. They give a different server name. As an example, they use California. And then here, AES 256, but they tell you to use AES like 128 or 128 CFB or something. They tell you to use something else. So just make sure that you know, is set correctly, and then you should be good to go. Other than that, I didn't have any problems. And you can go to status, and once you get it set up, status, OpenVPN, and this I shut off for this video just so I wasn't connected to a VPN when I was making the video in case it's slower at all. But this works. So when you click the play, this will connect and it'll be green here. And if it may give you some errors like handshake failed or whatever if it's not working right now, it's down. And then to check and make sure that your traffic is being routed through the VPN, or that the VPN is working correctly, you can just do like when the VPN is not on, when it's not running, when it looks like this, just do like a what's my IP, and it'll give you your outside IP address that is given to you by Comcast, and that'll change fairly frequently, like once a month to once every 6 months or so, or whatever internet service provider you have, unless you have a static IP, which most people don't. And then go ahead and turn this on, hit the play button, it'll connect. Once it says it's connected, just refresh the page or go to whatsmyip.com again, and it should move you somewhere else to wherever you're connected. It'll show a different IP and it'll show that you're in a different location. And if you ever want to shut this off, again, it's just status, OpenVPN, you'll get this screen. So if you ever want to shut it off in PFsense, you can just come here and hit the red button or whatever button it is. I think there's a stop button when it's running, but it's pretty easy. So basically follow the instructions. You go to certificates with the newer PFsense, and you click add, import existing, copy and paste here, you save it. Then you go to VPN, OpenVPN clients, you're only doing a client. You click add, and then you punch in all the info from the instructions and then that certificate, and you save it. And the hardest part of this, which you can't forget to do, and none of it is really that hard, but you have to go to what am I doing? NAT, network address translation. You have to go to NAT and outbound, and then this is all shown in the instructions too. But basically, I think you click save right away on outbound. Like you click hybrid, and you click save, and it'll make a rule, and then you do manual and hit save. And it'll make all these rules, but only 6 of them usually. I think I had 8 because I have 2 LANs. I have one for my security cameras that are on a separate LAN. But and then you just click on them, you copy, you move this over to OpenVPN and you click save on all the rules it makes. And that's it. After that, you should be good to go. So it takes like, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 minutes, maybe like 45 minutes if you run into an issue or you're reading through the instructions slow. But it really only takes a few minutes to set up and then you're good to go. So if anyone's having issues with this, I hope it helped, because that algorithm, like knowing what encryption to use, is really the hardest part. And that's what any VPN, like I've set up IPsec VPNs and stuff in the past, and it's always like the encryption usually is why they don't work. Because they're kind of finicky, like they have to match encryptions and have a key when you have like a pre-shared key, like IPsec VPN setup and whatnot. But anyway, that's out of the scope of this video. So just want to give a few tips. I hope that helps you, and have a good one.